Game number 1, Infernal Shrines, losers bracket final, everybody! And it is time for the fan club to prove themselves once again. If you want to go to the grand final, then, well, here it is. We got the Cats going up against them. And it's party time. They instantly ban Mephisto. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, Mephisto in the last game. So just to put a bit of context on it, the last series that was played from the fan club ended on Infernal Shrines. And they picked Mephisto. The Cats were in a position where they could actually watch that. And so after the performance of Nagrom on Mephisto, they were like, nope, not happening. So they banned Mephisto out, and yeah, here we go. We are in qualifier number 3 for the Banshee Cup, another best of 3 series. The teams are gathering points as they progress through the tournament. We are here in the losers bracket. The loser of this series takes 3rd place in qualifier number 3, and the winner has a chance in the grand final to take down, or take on, first and foremost, the Bratwurst boys, and maybe claim the title here in the 3rd qualifier. But yeah, good one so far. We had some fantastic games. You obviously want to position yourselves well to get into the playoffs, where the teams will then play for $2,500 of prize money. Big shout out to Kevin, to Psychiff, the owner of the Land Center in Miami, where we had multiple offline events now. He's sponsoring the tournament. And, well, the Banshee Cup is named after him. He's a Sylvanas one trick with, I think, 8,000 games played just on his main account alone. And Banshee Queen, Banshee Cup, you get the idea. Quick pick on Blaze, so we have him as a first pick now. And what is our first pick rotation for the red team as we're heading into game number 1? Diablo and Lucio. Diablo and Lucio. So we're going to jam it up a bit on our first map. Ixia as a support is just fun. He's just fun. He plays a lot of the heroes that others wouldn't play. Or, well, he prioritizes a lot of the heroes that others don't prioritize as highly. Loves to play his white main, as we've seen before. Drops his Ana. Lucio, obviously, is always a staple. But yeah, it's going to be cool to see what they can do now with this. We got Grey main from Captain Rex, and we got Johanna now too. So you have that Blaze and Jojo combo, which we've seen for years now. Super powerful one. And it was washed up when that team in that form still existed, that played it non-stop, and then other teams picked up on it very quickly too. So yeah, Blaze, Johanna for ages now. Super, super strong. Very beefy front line, very difficult to break through. Brightwing gets banned, always on board with that. And they also banned out Deathwing. Actually, I mean, I noticed it and then didn't really think about it, but they really target some of the heroes that were played by the fan club the last time on Infernal Shrines for that very reason. So, yeah, very curious. Either way, with the next few picks coming in, I'm still looking towards Nagrom and what he's now going to take. The one hero that I still want to see played a little bit more, where teams have been starting to tease her a bit, is honestly Vala. I don't think we're going to get here in the first game here, but let's say we have Battlefield of Eternity popping up at some point. I would love another arrow build. Or maybe even the double support auto attack style. I don't think we're going to get her here. We have Hanzo, we have Malthael. So definitely some nice tools if you want to have control over the shrine. And it's another good map also for Diablo to just bully people around. There's a lot of walls that you can bump people into very nicely when you're trying to control the shrines and get the punishers. Final 2 picks now for the Cats. And we get Deviant on Jaina and Stukov. Okay, so a lot of burst damage. You can follow up on jet propulsions with that very easily. With soaking for the Cats, there's also a chance that we're going to get some Samuro action later on. But for now, it's time for Infernal Shrines. We have our final pick for the fan club, for the red team, as the Frenchies are trying to make their way into the grand final. So let's see which team takes the lead on our first map of the best of 3 series. Our last pick is Kelthas. Nice. Our Fire Mage kicking in as the teams are playing a little Song of Ice and Fire for us, with Kelthas going up against Jaina, and we're jumping straight into the first map of the series. Game number 1 in the losers bracket final. We have the Cats over on the left in blue. Dark Reader, aka Dracula on Janna. Deviant is playing Stukov. We get a Herath on Greymane, Captain Rex on Jaina, and Soaking on Blaze. A little bit of a swapperoonie on the damage dealers, as over on the right side we still have a Malganir with Diablo. Jean Lassalle is playing Kel'Thas, definitely going to keep our eye on him. Lucio played by Ixia right now. We're getting Nagrom on Hanzo, and in addition to that, Malthael is being played by Virtual as we are moving into a bit of a mid lane brawl right now between the teams. So let's see if we're going to get an actual kill in all of this. It's a bit of a trap set up in the bush, but nobody is falling for it at this point. We get again the Soul Shield for Diablo, so no news there. Obviously on the side of Kel'Thas, it's also him trying to survive throughout all of this with his Mana Addict. And well, talking about surviving, Diablo certainly didn't, so that's first blood. And Malganir is pulling a Lauber again. It seems like Malganir is trying to get the title of French Lauber. And yeah, he's been definitely getting murdered a bit in the last couple of games, very early on, just before the 1 minute mark. So now as all of this continues, with 1 kill to 0, we have the Cats at least opening strong, starting to get the first kill, and also a bit of position with Blaze at the top where they can get some structured damage in on top of that too. Malthael is obviously matching that rotation as best as he can. And Ixia is speeding the French team up. We have Jean Lassalle in the meantime, not only trying to get his stacks, but also wants to follow up on any stun with the Gravity Lapse. And we've seen from Ultra, yeah, that's exactly it. Beautiful. Hitting 3 with it. I was just about to say, we've seen from Ultralisk how awesome a good Gravity Lapse follow-up can be if you play that well. He's been doing it multiple times now on that hero, and they are doing work on this one. Trying to do the same thing here once again, as they have, well, they have to send Kel'Thas back, so he is running out of mana there pretty quickly. But I absolutely love the character, just in regards to how well he can do when those Gravity Lapses come in. It makes Kel'Thas just really fun, and I love that we're seeing him a little bit more. It was one of those heroes that you didn't see a whole lot, and then during Meta Madness, I believe, we've seen it a bit more. And teams are now more willing to just pick him up again. So those follow-ups are fantastic, allow others to also do damage. It's just a CC chain that gets prolonged. We now have Greymane with the Insatiable on level 4. And we get Jaina with Frost Armor right here. So yeah, party will continue. But with 1 camp already taken on each team, we still have the third one, the neutral one, down at the bottom of the map. Teams are more focused so on the shaman camps, since the first objective is now popping up. So that's going to be the next goal here, trying to get those shamans onto the top lane, and then we'll see if somebody keeps some of their side laners back just to defend them properly as the fight for the first Punisher breaks out. And that's essentially what's going to happen here in the middle. So already Diablo getting ready for this. Next goal is obviously to get level 7. So every single time that you're seeing any kind of play being made for the first objective, you want to have level 7 with it. But since they're trying to catch Greymane at the bottom of the map, they are looking for a kill, and they nearly got it. Nice speed up from Lucio, and if he just arrived a second earlier, I think they might have had a chance to take Greymane down. Now he's still missing for a bit, since they have to send him back and yeah, get the thingy. Make sure that he gets some hit points and some mana out of all of this. So he's back to the Nexus, but he will be back in a moment. And Jaina is still dead. Jaina is down, so that's a tricky one. And that is a 4 versus 5 for the team in red. Good job by the French team, making some headway here with all of this, and this could very well be the first Punisher for them. They're still a bit behind on points, but if they can keep up the pressure here, they have a serious chance of getting the first objective in this first game of the losers bracket final. Level 7 is ready for both of the teams roughly at the same time, but we are not seeing the blue team giving up anytime soon. And now Jaina, the real dreadlord of the game, is starting to come back into it, dropping another quick blizzard, 37 to 33 stacks, and it is the Cats that take the first one. The jet propulsion is missing, or that could have been a kill too. In the meantime, the push in the mid lane gets set up, and Blaze has rotated back up towards the top and is making his play over there for some added damage at the wall. Bait over the wall obviously happening in the mid lane defense. They're still losing part of the gates. It's a pretty even start into the game, honestly. I mean, yes, blue team takes the Punisher, but it's a kill for a kill. Experience is extremely even between the two teams here too. So we are probably in for a pretty epic series between the Cats and the fan club. Now, with level 10 abilities, things will be accelerated a bit, I would assume. But right now, we are definitely having some fun here. Especially, well, maybe not Diablo. He needs some help from Lucio. That could have been another death. But everybody else is still doing well here. So they get the camp down at the bottom of the map. They are walking this a little bit closer to level 10 right now. Some damage at the wall that has to be dealt with. The blue team is still lingering, trying to see if they can do some additional damage here too. But yeah, we'll see. In the middle, also a bit of a fight breaking out as Blaze and Marthail are still rotating against each other. And there's always a chance to lock in a quick kill there too if one of them gets caught out by a gank. So, gotta be careful there. 13 stacks for Khaldor, as he's of course going to try and get the quest completed as quickly as possible. In an ideal world, you want to hit that before you have level 10, just so that you're getting the additional safety when your opponent has a bit more power to push this all out. But I even think that we're going to get heroic abilities for both of the teams at roughly the same time. It doesn't really look like anybody is taking too much of an advantage here in experience just yet. The blue team will be a little bit quicker, but it's going to be a small window. We get Bullet. And every single time that I see the Bullet right now, I'm reminded of the last Greymane game that Heras played, where he went into Bullet on level 20, had the cooldown reduction, and just YOLO'd bullets out time and time again. Ended up with some ridiculous amount of damage. I think it was 130,000. And particularly the opponent's Diablo was just suffering all game, every game. It was literally just like bullet into bullet into bullet. The man turned into a sniper. Just full machine gun style, one hit after another. Made you really feel sorry for the opponent's frontline. But for now, we have level 10 on both sides. The usual suspects being picked, the usual talents that you would expect here. Quick rotation towards the top as Lucio is still making a couple of advances here. Making also very annoying for the other team. But Diablo gets caught again, and that's the second kill against Diablo. So they're starting to farm him a bit here. Taking Malganir down once more. And just generally speaking, we now have 20,000 damage for Greymane. We're looking at 19,000 for Hanzo as he wants to catch up, and they were aiming for Khaldor down here. Even an arrow being sent out, damn! They sacrificed the ult from Hanzo to make sure that Khaldor doesn't die. Lucio already took care of it pretty much, but they wanted to be super safe, which now means they're missing out on one of the big cooldowns in the next battle, which is going to happen up at the top. Well, I guess he's going to get it back towards the back end of the fight, assuming that it's not an insta-kill on one side or another. But still, this could become a little bit dangerous. You got to be careful there. Bullet is once again out, so they're trying to make their move over here. Phoenix is also getting sacrificed. We have the first few heroes already on the shrine, and that gives us a slight advantage to the blue team, as they are already a bit in the lead. And they want more, of course. Nobody is running a talent advantage here, though, so that's the good news. They are still dead even in experience and just trying to continue the party. So, as is, we're now seeing quick moves being made, trying to, first and foremost, establish, of course, control of the shrine, but also poking from the outside with all the AoE that we're getting, for example, for Khaldor's living bomb damage and everything else that they could throw in here. So, yeah, they'll try, but in comes the next move. Hanzo has the arrow back. Blast right! And that's a kill on Jojo. They follow up with Jaina. Diablo dies, but still 17 to 23 stacks now. And Greymane with a beautiful kill, but he's also jumping straight into a gravity lapse. Could have potentially gone for even more, but he gets killed by Hanzo. If not for that gravity lapse, that would have been a completely different story, though. Greymane might have gotten another kill, and I think at least Marthail would have gotten destroyed. But now it's still 4 kills to 4, 34 stacks towards the objective, and this is going to be the first Punisher for the red team. So, yep, well done. The fan club, they get the Arcane Punisher and can travel through the top lane now. Blaze has now moved down to the bottom of the map. So they're going blow for blow here. One Punisher for the blue team, the next one for their opponents, and yep, move after move is being made here as the teams are trying to get an advantage that allows them to start to snowball the game a little bit. Not happening so far. Hireth again just YOLOing out bullets the entire time. Diablo's being hit over and over again and finds himself consistently at 50-60% HP because of that. Defense strong enough to ensure that they're not losing the fort. And choo-choo, as Nagrom drives the train towards the middle of the map. The blue team is also rotating over. And they're maybe even getting caught here. Look at Ixia. Ixia runs straight into them. And boy, is he lucky that there was no Blessed Shield for Jojo. If Johanna still had a Blessed Shield, that would have been a dead Lucio 100%. No way he survives in that scenario. We have 30,000 damage from Hanzo, and we got 34,000 damage from Greymane. And while all of this plays out, we still have one Shaman camp at the top. So for the next objective, they can either save it or take it a little bit earlier. But the camps at the bottom of the map are also back up, so they're going for those first. This one's already getting claimed. Lucio's double checking what's happening here. There's still a neutral camp at the bottom of the map they could technically try and go for. Yeah, and while they're doing exactly that, the fan club that is, the blue team is just defending. Defending, rotating over a bit and playing it, honestly, quite careful and slow. Unless they're trying to gank up fully now on Malthael, but I don't really think they're going to go that far for it. Malthael himself with one stack on his ult, so he got one last right stack. Camp in the middle of the map also doing some work. Obviously rotating through the lanes the way that the blue team just did a second ago also guarantees that they're catching all the minion experience here, which is going to get them a bit closer to level 16, which is another goal at this point, trying to hit that talent first. But as I mentioned before, they are evenly matched right now, and it shows again in experience that we're getting from them. So yeah, everybody just looking to maybe isolate somebody, get a quick kill somewhere. But there's nothing where you can just force your opponent's hand and force a fight. At least not just yet. Now, the fan club is not on 16 yet. Another bullet is out and Virtual gets attacked this time. So they're trying to make a play for Malthael, but he's still able to escape, moves out quickly. We have now both teams on level 16. Hanzo could always go for another arrow here if he needed to. It's a bit of a choke point situation as we also have water elementals in action. Well, they try and chase them through the middle now. 32,000 damage for Hanzo, 37,000 for Greymane. Jet Propulsion misses. No opportunity for last rights either, but these gravity lapses are still being thrown out in an attempt to catch somebody in a CC chain. Blue team is also dropping a bit low, so they gotta be careful, particularly Greymane. If you're the one that tries to dive in, you gotta ensure that Malthael can't just simply drop his ult on you and take you down with it. So, yeah, rotations are ongoing, and on top of that, as you can see, we're now having the next shrine coming up, which allows both of the teams again to send their shaman camps towards the top. Virtual does the same thing with Malthael over for the fan club, and now it's a party time. So, let's see who takes the third objective. Who's able to claim it here? This is going to be a big one. 16 for both of the teams. Here comes the move right there. Yeah, they're trying again with Diablo at the front. He eats the bullet and drops low, but Lucio has his back. The initial lead on the objective for the red team, for the fan club. And again, attempted choke point control with the water elemental out too. Malgany is diving in deep. Here comes Phoenix. Johanna with Condemn. They're trying for Malthael. They can't get the kill here. Last rights is still available. And it's Jaina that dies first. Greymane follows at a close second. And in comes the triple kill. It's a triple, baby, as they take down Stukov, and even Jojo falls. The cats are absolutely getting doused in water here. They lose the entire team. 5-man team wipe as the entire blue team gets murdered. Huge fight here. Jaina falling first, and then Hanzo dropping Greymane, and that was only the beginning. The second last right stack for Malthael for the kill on Stukov. And this is, of course, just fantastic. A huge amount of momentum for them. Massive amount of momentum right now. So, in this case, we now have 9 kills to 4. Bot lane is getting attacked. Topside fort is already gone. The Shaman camp is now making a play for the keep wall. So they're losing ground on every single lane. On every single lane. It is tough. It's really tough for the cats now. That fight was an absolute disaster. Not only because they've got a massive chunk of experience over to their opponents, but also at the same time we just have so much momentum. And well, the red team could set it up perfectly. They had a camp at the top lane, they have one in the mid lane that is now about to drop another fort, the final one. And at the bottom of the map they're taking the keep wall out. Even the keep itself has taken some damage. And they're only half a level away from level 20. So the fan club with some fantastic plays here, and it's going to make it tricky. Very tricky for their opponents to get back into the series. Once that level 20 hits, with that 1.5 level lead that they currently have here, yeah, then it's, yeah, going to become a disaster. Now the good news is the keeps haven't fallen yet. At the end of the day, the rule is always more or less the same. If you can at least save the keeps, you are in a decent spot. Last rights, that had to be a misclick. Last rights on a full HP Stukov, that made no sense, but they get the kill on Greymane regardless, and guess what? They're also going to take down Johanna. Johanna has gone too, Malganir survived, but Soaking will fall, and that is the third one in the bunch. Level 20 talents are ready, and they're immediately moving down to the bottom of the map. The keep is opened up, and they want to ensure that they're taking this one out. Don't think they're gonna go for core here. Death timers are still a little bit too low, but the keep is gonna fall 100%. I mean, who knows? They might try it. Yeah, actually, at that pace, they might really just go for it. And they're already positioning themselves here. So if they get the kill against Stukov, then they have a chance for sure. Stukov goes down, so does Malganir though, but they can still get some damage in on the core. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Greymane is back in 6 seconds. I'm not sure if they can take the entire core down, but they can definitely do some damage here. And they're already doing exactly that. 70% on it. They're going to get it down to 60, down to 50. And if they just YOLO completely, they might have it. Malthael falls though. They might have to fall back here. 34%. They're still trying. That's Hanzo gone. 31%. Did the Frenchies just blow it? Did they just throw? I really thought they would only get some damage in and then fall back. A 50% core is quite nice. That allows you to backdoor later. But that is a meme. He got interrupted! He got interrupted by the blessed hammer. No! Oh, Jean is a man on a mission. It's just halving. I thought he would go for the core. All right, so he's gonna die here. He goes down. At the same time, we have the bunker being dropped over on the right side. But yeah, what the meme. Oh, Khaldor. It took balls to just go in the bush and half back, and then he gets hit by a hammer. That just feels better at that point, honestly. So, yeah. I mean, either way, top side, they sent Jaina over to deal with the catapult. And rightly so, because that would take damage quickly. But what exactly can the blue team do now? They have to, of course, start to somehow bring this back right now. And with 9 kills to 14, yeah, they're on level 20, they've lost the keep. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it was probably not quite worth it for the fan club here. But 30%, 31% on the core, that's still pretty rough. That still can be pretty problematic. We're having the control chaos for Stukov. We got the radiating faith over here now. And, well, for the time being, I think the red team is just deciding to fall back here. They don't have Khaldor on the map yet. He's just now coming back. So, yeah, nothing that they could really do there. With the 4 versus 5, just not really a thing. Now we got at the bottom of the map, Hanzo going for another camp. Nagrom is playing this one out as the blue team is of course preparing for the push in the middle. The fort will fall, the gate is already gone, you can't really play around this. So they're going to lose this one. But they have now a camp up at the top lane. They have a camp down at the bottom of the map. We are 19 minutes in, so if those catapults make it towards the core, that would be an issue. The idea, of course, being that the cats are hoping to get way more than only the fort. They want to go for the keep. They want to take that one out. But the longer this push lasts, the more problematic the bot and the top lane are going to be for the cats. So they will have to fall back eventually or risk losing the Winions. But they still want that keep. And now, 20 minutes in, 19 minutes in, that Punisher is still strong enough to allow them to pressure for it. They're baiting the Punisher in the middle. And they're hoping to go for the core, as it seems. I'm not quite sure if they can make that work. They also have to soon send somebody better because that bot lane push is gonna become a real disaster. It seems like they are going all in on this. It really feels they're going all in on it. There's one more minion wave at the bottom that stops that big push with the catapults, and then the core is gonna fall to minions. So they are going all in on the action. 80%, it's a race, baby. And it seems like they're taking it. The cats. The minions attack the blue team's core, but it is the cats that win the game. Nicely done. The death push. GG and well played.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Garden of Terror, map number 2. Quite the comeback from the blue team. A really nice push through the middle, and I was at first skeptical that they would be able to take the core down, but they made it work. And honestly, they had to. The second they made the decision to push for core, they really needed to win it right there, because that bot lane, as the blue team won the game and took the core down of the fan club, the bot lane pressure with catapults and also mercenaries was already taking the shield down and would have ended the game. So yes, really well done towards the end there from the cats. A fantastic call that wins them the game. Disappointing, of course, for the fan club. They definitely had big hopes that they could change things here and could start things off with a quick victory, but yep, that wasn't the case. So now that we're going into game number 2, we're actually heading into Garden of Terror. Hogger gets therefore immediately banned. Didn't expect anything else. He is still one of the best heroes that you can get on this map, because you want to keep those mercenary camps there safe too. But our first pick, what's happening? What are we getting? What's going to be the... It's the Haka. So we're getting a global for the French team. Gonna get some global pressure here. And Genji very quickly on the other side, together with Brightwing. Yeah, Fruit Flies in the house. No Anduin combo or anything the like. But I have my eyes a bit on Ixia as usual. Also, I don't think... No, we didn't have Falstad yet. So there's still a chance that they're going to pick up Falstad too, or that somebody at least does. And in case that I haven't mentioned it, once again a quick reminder that we have still one draft rule in the tournament. You cannot pick the same hero twice in a series. So, just saying. We're not having anything crazy like Meta Madness. The whole goal here isn't really to force any crazy picks. It's just to make sure that we're not going to get the same pick every single map. So heroes that were played on the first map cannot be picked again. Makes for a little bit more interesting drafts. Creates some draft diversity. But obviously we don't want to go full Meta Madness on this one. Meta Madness is its own thing, so there won't be any pre-bans either here in the playoffs nor anywhere else. And we are getting Kel'Thuzad banned out. Okay. We had actually, I believe, 1, 2? In the Banshee Cup, we had at a minimum 1 Kel'Thuzad pick already. And they banned Cho'Gall. Yeah, it's something that the cats bust out every now and then. It's kind of sad though. I would have loved to see Cho'Gall again. I love that we have now a few heroes that are just getting picked a little bit more. Not to a crazy extent, but just a little bit more. Every now and then, Cho'Gall pops his head up. We're getting a little bit more Kel'Thuz. Not a ton, he's not appearing every game, but every now and then on Infernal Shrines, a team says, alright, we're going for him. Here's my Vala. Okay, Vala, and I kind of called Samuro already earlier from Soul King, and now that's exactly what we're getting. So, Vala and Samuro. And, well, what's going to be the final pick for Nagrom and Jean Lassalle? How are they dealing with this now? Do we get the double global? Are they dropping Falstad in as well? Jean played him a few times. Nezebo. And Illidan. Okay. Alright. Calm down there for a second, boys. Okay, this got wild quickly. That was unexpected. Illidan and Nezebo. That's going to be a wild late game. If they get into the late game, oh boy is that going to hurt. If Illidan goes stacking on level 1, Nezebo obviously aiming for Vile Infection. Whew. Yeah. Drakia, the final pick, and we get Muradin. Garden of Terror, everybody. It's going to be wild. I can guarantee you that much. Let's head straight into the second map of the Losers Bracket Final. Yeah, the battle will definitely begin shortly. You are so right, and it's going to be a fierce battle at the blue team on the left with the lead in the series. The Cats with Drake on Murden, Captain Rex on Genji, Deviant playing Brightwing, we got Soaking on Samuro, and Hirath with Creed of the Hunter as his level 1 choice is going into stacks without a double support here. But the draft gets really wild once we're looking at the right side, once we're looking at the French team with Malganion on Uberak, Nagrom on Illidan. Not going for stacks on level 1, but for the Battered Assault instead. Ixi on Uther, we got Virtual on Dehaka, and Jean Lassalle is going for a spider build Nezebo. Witch Doctor, baby! Let's go! And yeah, let's see what Illidan can do. I mean, this is going to be a wild game one way or another, but late game could be just incredible if we're getting to an actual late game. With Nezebo getting stacked and everything else, and you have also late game Samuro, of course. So yeah, there is a lot of tools for both of the teams here that can really excel and shine. But I am incredibly curious who's going to take it. Now, this is, of course, again, the losers bracket final, meaning if the French team, if the fan club loses, then they are out of the tournament. They would take 3rd place, which is very respectable. If you compare that to their first performance in qualifier number 2, I mean, a huge improvement for sure. And then on top of that, we are also looking at the Cats, who of course are trying to get back into a rematch against the Bratwurst and Bathrobe boys in, well, currently waiting in the grand final for their opponent. So yeah, definitely a couple of things that can be, well, a couple of things that both of these teams are looking forward to right now. Who's gonna take it though? Last game was close and looked for quite some time as if it would be the red team to lock in the W, claim victory. But then this one decision towards the late game was just enough for the Cats to win it. You can always obviously argue that the French team kind of threw it away a bit when they were trying to go for core, that they just overstayed their welcome and then essentially got punished for it, lost most of their heroes, gave a huge chunk of experience over to their opponents. So, but yeah, either way, they definitely had a part in their own demise there. Now, what's going to happen here, that's a very different story, but I think the last game is going to influence this a bit. We're going to keep our eye on Vala as well. Her level 1 is obviously a Gambit quest, so she has a huge amount of attack speed because of it right now. But with every single death that she suffers, she's going to lose some of that. Normally, that's the reason why you see her played with a double support whenever she's going into auto attack stacks. That's not the case here. So she is totally prepared to at least die a few times. But the question will then still remain, can they do a proper follow-up on that? Can they, for example, I don't know, get her just stacked quickly? Can she maybe survive even? Is she going to play a little bit more passive and risk getting less stacks? Either way, we're going to keep our eye on Hirath a bit and see what he can pull off here. But good stacking and not dying too often would of course go a long way to put additional pressure onto the red team and maybe prevent Nezebo from getting to level 20 with enough Violent Infection stacks in the first place. Because late game Nezebo is just an insane powerhouse and the damage output that he gets you is ridiculous. For now we have not a single killer in the game. Spider builds continues, and we also have the stacks on level 1, as you can see here. The seeds are up, or the first ones at least are, and it's the red team that walks away with the first one. Samuro can't interrupt this one either. 30 stacks for Nezebo. Again, it's going to be fine. Unless he's going to get killed multiple times, yeah, there shouldn't really be a problem on a bit like this for him to stack. And ooh, Genji gets attacked very quickly. I love that Nagrom is playing such an aggressive assassin, by the way. We've seen him in so many situations now playing Tracer and just absolutely murdering people. And now we're getting even an Illidan performance from him. So if he can pull that one off through, that would just be awesome for the upcoming tournaments. Because these guys, they just keep getting better. So we got level 7 kicking in for now. And with that we're getting Unbound. And we have the spider build pretty much completed. Next seed is up at the top right now, sorry, the top left, which means that we're going to have a much better position for the blue team to get their first seed on the objective, so they should be able to get that. Unless it's going to be a bit of an awkward spot where they lose heroes before that even happens. But yeah, right now it's the bot lane that they should be concerned about more. Dehaka is still holding on to the top and could assist down here if he needs to. But for the time being, it's that bot lane push. Vala gets help as Anubarak was making a dive for her. First quest already completed now for Herath. So yes, is getting some work done with this. Able to very quickly get additional damage on it. Genji is here, Samuro still in the middle, rotating against Dehaka as best as he can. And down at the bottom, it's Uther that finds himself to be the target and eats the Stormbolt. Uther is down, he's gone, and that is first blood in the game. Yeah, first blood at the 5-minute mark, essentially. So, yeah, not too shabby. Nice fight. Vala also with more and more stacks now. Illidan was obviously doing his best to try and turn around at the bottom of the map, but they had to fall back there. Now, generally speaking, Illidan is a character anyways that excels in the later stages of the game. When we're talking Illidan, it's always distance to safety that we have to mention. Once the map is opened up and forts and keeps are gone and he can chase people 6 days to Sunday, this is where Illidan really thrives, where he becomes super powerful, and that's what the team is going to be also waiting for to an extent. Vala attacked and she is gone. That means that the first Gambit stack is also eliminated. Attack speed reduced at least a bit. And with Vala, if you can keep the attack speed up, particularly level 16 is going to be massive for you. Simply because you are going to get Manticore, and that auto attack damage together with that attack speed is just absolutely ridiculous. So, bit of it is already removed. We get level 10 though, and that gives us in this case for soaking. He likes that. He actually really likes to go Bladestorm. A lot of the other Samuro players, like Sven for example, don't really use that all that often, but he's a fan of it. Now we got Uther with the Divine Storm, so they're probably going to try and lock... yeah, X-Strike out. I was about to say, they're probably going to try and lock him down with a big CC chain, but if he's able to X-Strike out, then there's no way that they can actually take Genji apart. So Genji had to use his ult, had to use X-Strike. Vala is still in trouble and is able to get away. Brightwing coming in just in the case that she's not able to make it here. A kill for a kill with the quest now completed for Nazeebo. At the top, the 1 versus 1 continues to... between Samuro and Dehaka. And, well, right now, when we're talking damage, we have Illidan as the top damage in on the red team, which is actually kind of funny. He's at half the damage that we're seeing from Vala, so yeah, it doesn't really add a whole lot here. But the thing is, we haven't seen this many fights yet, to be fair. Vala is, of course, going to try and work in every single auto attack she can, simply because she wants to stack her level 1. But we haven't seen massive brawls or anything like that. Yeah, it's just been another hit. Okay, here comes also Illidan coming in with a hunt, trying for that kill again. Brightwing is a little bit low, but is able to jump out, and even Dehaka can't catch up. But we still have Muradin here, and he eats the isolation. Samuro is at the top lane, by the way. He's fully lane AFK, using his PhD in PvE to get a bit more value. But down here, the 4 versus 5 continues, and Muradin finally falls. So Muradin is gone. The rest of the team is able to escape. And of course, Vala, as so often, has used those opportunities to get herself a couple more stacks for her level 1. As the game continues, this is going to become more and more important. But still, it's a nice back and forth between the two teams. And this is exactly what we expected, particularly after the first map. Captain Rex has to be mega careful and is able to get away, but that seed will likely be picked up by the Bobby Kotick fan club. Or will it? I mean, they're still trying. Stun into stun. Illidan is ready as well. They're trying to body block Vala. Herath, it seems like he's going to fall. Yes, Vala dies. Once again, Hunt comes in. Brightwing gets attacked quickly. But they might still be able to... Yeah, they saved Brightwing and they could... For a second, after she blinked in and Illidan completely followed, I thought maybe they can even turn it around against Illidan and just punish him for going this deep with her. Even though that was, of course, not the initial intent. So now the seed is about to get channeled. Or so I thought, and then Genji came in and did it again. But yeah, stun against stun. Sometimes they just want a little bit too much. I mean, at some point you have just you gotta let it go. They are buying time, of course, for Samuro, who has done a ton of work at the top lane and has now nearly taken the fort out. Vala is picking up, tempered by discipline, to have a little bit of self-sustain with her auto attacks. But on kills, we now have a lead slowly but steadily being taken by the French team. So they are gaining some momentum. And Nazeebo is at 100 stacks on his baseline. So he is definitely on a good path talking about Vial Infection here. Definitely something that he can continue as this game goes on. Now, Cam's obviously, again, the focus for the two teams here. We're not talking level 16 talents yet, but there's another seed coming up, and this would be the third one for the red team. So they got to be super careful that that doesn't happen if they want to avoid Garden Terrors from moving in. 14,000 damage. Illidan still top damage for the red team. Nazeebo obviously a bit more focused on taking down minion waves so they can stack properly and make his moves there. But up at the top, the party is now going to center all around that seed because, again, it needs to be prevented if the blue team wants to ensure that they are not going up against Garden Terrors this early. Samuro has still pushed the top lane out just a little bit, but that fort is still standing. And now as the attack rages on here, we have half a level until the Bobby Kotick fan club is going to have level 16 talents. So another reason why you want to avoid the Garden Terrors now, because if they get both at the same time, then you're going to be in trouble. Here comes again Illidan. Cocoon is already out against Genji. Another quest reward for Vala as she's trying to get the auto attacks connected. They're dropping Uther, but Samuro has also fallen. And here comes the hunt as Illidan is going deep once more. The spiders nibbling on their toes. The Uther Ghost still doing work, but in the meantime, the channel from Malganir. They are able to grab the Garden Terrors. The fight still centering around the middle as Vala is able to take down Illidan. Another well-placed auto attacks, and Illidan goes down. 16 talent advantage is ready, but even that didn't save the day for the melee assassin. The Garden Terrors, on the other hand, that's a bit of a different story. The one in the middle quickly defeated. The one at the bottom of the map targeted by Genji. As up to the top, they still have a little bit of time before things are getting too nasty here. But yeah, we are again in for a party, aren't we? Blue team is having some trouble catching up with the level 16 talent, but at least they're getting the damage out. And Nazeebo has gone full on Spider, so level 16 follow-up and all of this 2 Superstition even as his level 13 choice. And by now, another isolation attempt for Drak here, gets fully surrounded by the red team. The bot lane fort has fallen, and I mean, to make matters a little bit worse, it's not only that the bottom lane fort has fallen, but that Garden Terror has actually moved all the way towards the keep and is starting to take the wall out here. Doesn't complete the entire thing, but still, that's a little bit more damage that I personally would be comfortable with. But of course, they had to also face the music on other parts of the map. Manticore is now in, so that's going to be the big one. That is definitely going to help a lot against the melees. And Vala is also at 130 stacks. That's not too shabby. 130 stacks right now is pretty good. She died twice, so still some attack speed bonus left, and she therefore is rewarded with the top spot in the leaderboard on hero damage, sitting at 37,000. Mirrodin getting attacked here. Illidan with a hunt, trying to go in again, got interrupted actually. And they're still trying to go for the next attack here. So yeah, in this case, Blade Storm is out. Illidan still looking for a potential target, looking to make a play, as Vala is dropping the auto attacks and Samuro is dropping the Haga. They are making some waves here. Blue team fighting back into it as they should. 4 to 5 kills. Both teams on level 17 now. They are fighting tooth and nail here. Nobody is giving ground. Hunt once again on Brightwing. They save Mirrodin, but he gets a follow-up and the Stormbolt, and Illidan dies. Still the best counter to Illidan. Forget blinds. It's all about the stuns. When he can't move, he can't kill anything, and he also can't heal himself up. So yep, well played. They get Illidan destroyed as he tried to dart in, but Mirrodin shutting him down was exactly what they needed here. And right now, the next play being made in the mid lane. Top lane also, Catapults are of course pushing. We have in the meantime another seed coming. And this is now going to be a pretty important seed as well for the blue team, because they are of course now also trying to get a little bit ahead on this. They want to push farther ahead so that they can put additional pressure onto the red team. The initial thought was to get the fort in the middle, but they couldn't do that, and now they lose Vala as a result. Yeah. Didn't go for the seed right away, went for the fort instead, lose Vala in the process, and now play a 4 versus 5. Unlucky. Bit unfortunate for them, fantastic for the French team. They now have... It's not only about them taking a seed, it's honestly denying a second seed to the blue team, which is going to help them, simply because there is not going to be any pressure with a potential Garden Terror wave on the next one. Now, they're at least trying to do something up here at the top as they're now moving in to try and take out the mercenary camp. They go for the siege giants. There's also catapults here. I mean, somebody really needs to deal with this. And Illidan is now making his way over. So he's going to be the one to make the play here. But they are losing quite a bit against these catapults as the game continues. Siege giants in the middle might finish the job even on the fort that they weren't able to finish earlier. So that's another chance that they have, particularly as Genji is now moving in. Yep, they're going to get it 100%. Now, the problem is that at the bottom of the map, the blue team is facing a big push from the fan club, and even Vala was in trouble. Nice zombie wall too as a follow-up on Cocoon, even with Gary involved, the Gargantuan, but it wasn't enough to take her down. So 6 kills to 5, and Illidan with another seat at the top that he could take now. That would be the second one to their name. The keep down here has lost half of its HP, but they can still safeguard it. And these siege giants in the middle are still doing work. They're still doing their job. And take part of the wall in the mid lane out. So, both teams aiming for level 20. We got a wild one on our hands. And I was actually a bit skeptical initially if we're going to get to that late game. I was like, this is going to be too good to be true. Can we get to that late game where all of a sudden Nazeebo, Illidan, and they all are fighting? And it seems like indeed we can. Because currently we have level 20 incoming. Looking at Nazeebo, he's at 125 stacks, which is actually incredibly low, all things considered. So this means that we might not even see Vile Infection unless he's willing to hold it. And he's not. He's not. No Vile Infection. Nowhere to hide for Illidan. And Nazeebo has gone for the upgrade Humangoid with Divine Protection now for Uther. No redemption for him. So yeah, this is getting a bit wild here. Late game Nazeebo, but he couldn't stack enough to get himself Vile Infection. Vala is sitting at 165 stacks in the meantime. So, yeah, she's getting to pretty decent numbers where her auto attacks are going to hit hard. And with Farfly Quiver now, she's going to be a lot farther in the back, which is going to help her tons, of course. So yes, attack after attack right now as they're coming in for the next scene and for the next fight. Big stun, and bye-bye Mirrodin. Mirrodin is gone and another set of Garden Terrors. It's unbelievable. They get another set of Garden Terrors with Mirrodin deleted. Didn't even get an opportunity to pop his avatar here. He gets crushed. Now we have 7 kills to 5. And we have Garden Terrors for the red team that they are going to try and use to just brutalize the opponent's keeps. There's still 2 forts standing for the blue team, by the way. Let's not forget about that. They have 2 forts still remaining. So that's another thing that they might have to deal with. But the bottom keep, that obviously is going to get crushed. There's no chance of saving this. Absolutely none. They just don't have it. There's no... First of all, they're missing their tank. Second of all, they can't take the Garden Terror down quickly enough. And yes, as expected, this one falls. Now, the fort in the middle is likely gonna get dropped too, particularly since Illidan is taking it on together with Dehaka. The rotation is coming towards the middle as well. And on top of that, as you can see now, also dealing with the top lane. So that second wave of Garden Terrors, a massive boost for the French team. Doing an absolutely spectacular job here. And now the blue team, they have to buckle up. If they want to have a 2-0 victory, if they want to go straight to the grand final and not fight through a third map, then they have to really step it up now. And yeah, good luck trying to pull that off. What would go a long way is if they themselves get some Garden Terrors. But they have picked up a one single seed in the entire game. 1. The red team got 6. They only got 1. So if they win 2 in a row now, they might be able to turn the game around, but easier said than done. So we'll see if they can do that. Already in the next catch, and Samuro is gone. Soaking, eliminated. Here comes Illidan. Nice follow-up on top of that too. And this is smelling like it could be the end. Yeah, well, and as I said, Vala is able to drop Illidan and take him down. So yeah, good for her. That was a nice kill, and a really important one. So at least they're trading. As long as they're trading kills, they're still in a spot where they can bring that back. But yeah, another quick jump forward, and Vala gets killed too. Just as it started to look a little bit better for them. So now we're playing a 4 versus 3, and they have trouble disengaging here. But this is kind of the series that we really want. Just back, hit against hit, blow for blow. They're just exchanging punches time and time again. But at live, I didn't fully acknowledge that the French team is currently just doing better here. Tactical pause initiated by the Cats, as they have to see how this is now going to play out. I mean, first of all, the next problem is one seed can be picked up again by the red team. That is going to put the first set of Garden Terrors for the blue team even farther away from them. We have Vala with 192 stacks. That puts her on 64,000 damage now. Nubarak back here. Vala is, by the way, only the second highest damage dealer in the game. We have Nazeebo still reigning supreme with 68,000, despite the fact that he does not have a viral infection and that he wasn't able to stack all the way. I mean, if you look at Nazeebo right now, he's sitting at only 148 stacks, which is nothing crazy. Samuro with the Blade Master's Pursuit here on his level 20 talent. We'll also have Brightwing with Invisible Friends, because that's the only kind of friends that Brightwing will ever get. Nobody else wants to be anywhere near that thing, and for good reason. But with 3 kills ahead, the red team is now still ruling the map. They're still ahead here. They have pretty much control over, I don't want to say everything, but they are controlling the flow of the game, also with every single mercenary camp that they are now grabbing. And yeah, let's see what they can actually do now. I mean, honestly, the blue team won't be able to fight against them up to the point where they have their own. Actually, they might get the seed. No, Vala's down for another 10. That's going to be interesting, the top seed. But Vala will be back. And even Illidan is now playing it slow. So, yeah. Down to the bottom of the map. That's where Bladestorm needs to be used to. They need to take this on very, very quickly. They are having camps pushing against them in the middle, up at the top. Yeah, taking the Spell Aura out first. And I guess they're going to give this one up from the looks of it. At least they're not looking like they're making a big play for it. Yeah. Again, a seed for a seed. 7 seeds already for the red team. So much better on the objective. But we all know how the last game went. They pretty much had them on the ropes. And then the blue team showed their experience, made some good calls, and turned it around. So, can they do that again? It would be kind of hilarious, honestly. Maddening for the red team if it happened again. But, yeah. Next seed is spawning, and now there's a bit more freedom for the blue team, finally. Yeah, they push these lanes out slightly. Now it's just a question of who's going to get to that seed, who's going to make the move. Can somebody play with vision a little bit? So far it's not the case here. But, well, we have Dehaka down at the bottom of the map, waiting for Tong. Illidan is still at the top. He has a pseudo-global, obviously. If you're playing nowhere to hide, I mean, you're essentially playing with 2 globals at this point in time. You have Dehaka and you have Illidan. So, yeah, talking Illidan. Zip! And he's down at the bottom of the map. Was it a bird? Was it a plane? No, it's Illidan. YOLO! Okay. They gave another seed up. If we are getting, seriously, 3 sets of Garden Terrors in this game, that would be ridiculous. Yeah, Murder gets caught. Big stun from Uther. And bye-bye Brightwing. Bye-bye Murden. And that's all she wrote. Anything but a victory here for the fan club would shock me. They take 3 heroes out and are now solidly set on their path towards the core. A path to game number 3. They try for soaking. Honestly, they don't have to worry about anything here. They're going in, they're taking them down one after another. Genji is trying to X-Strike out a bit. They can slow them down, but that's all that they can do. They won't prevent the core from falling. I mean, a fantastic performance, honestly, in this one. From the fan club. They are able to pull this off. They turn the tides in this best of 3 and force the 3rd and final map between the 2 teams here. Well done. GG. Garden of Terror goes to the Bobby Kotick fan club. Game number 3, we're going the distance. Who's moving into the grand final, everybody? Who's going to take on the Bratwurst and Bathrobe? Battlefield is the map, and I can guarantee you that Zarya is gonna get banned. 100%. I will bet money on the fact that the cats are now moving in and just getting rid of Zarya pretty much immediately in the first ban rotation. They're not gonna let her through on BOE. That's just not happening. So they ban Tracer first. The second ban is going to be Zarya. And, well, wait, do they have first pick? No. The only scenario where I could have seen her not banned out is if they are able to pick her for themselves, which is not happening. So yeah, Zarya gets banned. We got also the boot for Sylvanas once again. And what's gonna be first pick for the French team? If I'm on their team, I'm a bit annoyed right now, to tell you the truth. Because if you've seen game number 1, that comeback, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So it's crazy to think that they are now in the 3rd game. They could have won this with a 2-0, but the Cats, they showed all their prowess in the late game and were able to claim victory on Infernal Shrines. We're starting things off with the Liming right now from Nagrom. And here comes our double pick. So, blue team, how are we opening into this? We could even get Lunara now that I'm thinking about it. Game 3, yeah, Lunara might be an option here. Chromie first, and we get Soaking on Chen. That's actually another one. Soaking loves to play Chen on Battlefield to such a degree that lots of teams are banning Chen against him on this map. Where they're just like, yeah, we're not really sure. Like, even if we don't have to worry about it too much, we just want to get it out of the way. Make sure that you can't really deal with that. So, Chen is banned. Side lane is therefore more or less determined. And now, a double pick for the red team. The Frenchies with Urel and with Whitemane for Ixia again. So, I mean, Nagrom is very likely going to play Liming here, I suppose, but he could also just swap it over later. Personally, I'm a bit looking towards Hireth here. Greymane has been played. I mean, a lot of the heroes that you normally want to play on Battlefield of Eternity in order to get like real damage out against the Immortal have already been either played or banned. Vala isn't available anymore. You can't go for Hanzo any longer. Greymane is also out of the picture. Sylvanas is banned. That's really starting to limit your options a bit. There's a chance to go... they banned Shogun again. Better safe than sorry. There's obviously a chance that you go for Lunara in the scenario here. There's Mages still around that you could play too. Sergeant Hammer is up. Haven't even mentioned her. We have seen very little Hammer play between these two teams, and I think the fan club in general is not prioritizing her too highly. But if you think about the previous games in the tournament and also qualifier number 2, you've seen a lot of Sergeant Hammer, so that could be a thing here as well. Varian, looking more for like snipes. And that gives us Anduin, the father-son duo right there. Father and son united at the front lines. Well, Varian is at the front line. Anduin is like... He's right behind him, guys. He's right behind him. But yeah. Anduin is going to lead the charge. The more I look at these pictures, like again, if I am Varian, I want the DNA test. No way that he's the father. Look at this. They're not even looking remotely close. I mean, like nothing. It's like ridiculous. Ridiculous to think that these guys are related. They're definitely not. If I'm Varian, I want a DNA test. That is not a thing. So yeah, Varian, definitely not. You should have had your suspicions, dude. You should have had your suspicions from the beginning. The guy, like your son doesn't know how to hold a sword. Obviously, that's illegitimate. Anyways, we get Kira. Apparently, they want to go for an extra handicap here. Look at that. And the final pick for Hireth, it is Thrall. War Chief time. Okay. Battlefield of Eternity. 3rd map, final map in the series. Let's go, everybody. Let's see which team claims victory and moves on to go up against the Bratwurst boys. And we're off to the races. Here we go. Game number 3, the final map in the series. And we get on the left side, Drachia on Varian. We got Anduin, played by Deviant. Hireth on Chromie. Soaking is rocking Chen. And Captain Rex on Thrall. Over on the right side of the map, the red team, the Frenchies, with Malgany on Mal'Ganis, Jean Lassalle on Kira, with Ixia on Whitemane, Virtual on Urel, and Nagrom with Leeming. Stage is set, and which team is gonna move on to the next round? Which team will take third place in the tournament? I guess we're about to find out. On level 1, we get the deep breathing for Chromie, and we also got maximum effort for Kira. Obviously, already sitting in there in the party bush down here. The one-on-one lane at the top, that was already a bit of a given with Chen and Urel, so we knew what would happen there. Thrall could have technically gone into the Trash Lightning. Always a chance to go and get some stacks if you are part of the 4-man, and thanks to Chen holding the side lane, that was a thing. We're going full into Warcraft compositions apparently here today. But for now, it's just poke, 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 poke down at the bottom of the map. Trying to do their best here to take a little cheeky kill and slowly take the lead. Anduin is throwing light around as usual. Power Word Shield on level 1. And Thrall and Kira have both actually thought about moving towards the top side. Kira's now already rotating back down, but a nice connect here from Captain Rex that puts additional pressure onto Urel. But of course now the mercenary camps are spawning and the red team is going straight down to the bot lane in order to get the siege camp here. Get those Khazras and push through that bottom. But with the top 2v1, we have the same happening from the blue team. So it's essentially a trade. They're just trading. Nothing too crazy happening here. There's still a numbers advantage at the bottom of the map, I suppose, that could technically give the red team now the upper hand, going for the first structure. But each team is willing to take this a bit slower. Nagrom, then again, is getting good value from his continuous hits that he's bringing in here. So he is moving in time and time again with one combo after another against the tower and is able to do a serious amount of damage with all of that. So, yeah, nicely done. And in addition to that, Malganir is also taking a slight beating. Not too much, but they gotta be careful with the CC. Particularly with level 4 Varian Taunt coming in, you have to be super cautious that you're not ending up in a situation where first Varian taunts you, then Thrall follows up with Wolf, locks you down further, and Chromie just takes all of that as an opportunity to just murder you. Just slap you around and crush you in the ground. So yeah, gotta be a bit careful on that account. But camps are now being taken. First objective is of course popping up. I guess when we're talking about the general poke, probably the comp on the side of the red team is a little bit better in immortal damage. But again, this is going to be an all-out brawl. If anything in the series has if learned anything, it will be a big brawl. They're gonna go into a super brawly setup around the Immortal, or I would be very surprised. I mean, the entire game has been, or the entire match has been like this so far. Already, Kira coming in with a little bit of a swing here. Whee! And, well, we're gonna have some extra damage as teams are starting to take down those Shaman camps. At the bot lane nearly has happened, and the red team at the top is about to lose theirs too. Both of the towers have zoned in on the Shaman, so yeah, this one is definitely gonna get dropped. Down here, nice taunt into some Chromie damage, but the Rakir on Varian in trouble, and abandoned by his son as Anduin just lets him die. That's how you repay him. You're not even his biological son, and he's still raised you as his own, and that's how you repay him. Anduin gets killed a moment later. That is the just punishment that he deserves. And Liming has been murdered too, but of course the difference here is that we still have a better position for the fan club, as they're now also aiming for soaking, and they might get another kill. Oh, Kira Joe just stopped before the final blow came in. Okay. But yeah, 3 kills to 1, and the fan club doing a bit better over here. But holy hell. So yeah, that's Chen getting killed there towards the end, but it was just like Kira who really wanted to murder him. Couple of nice moves, honestly, from Chromie. So it seems like they're just giving up. They're just trying to reduce the damage, reduce the bleeding a little bit, do the best that they can in order to not have too big of a shield on the Immortal for the red team. But as they didn't try to defend, didn't try to force a fight, and just simply went for the Immortal and started the race, it was pretty clear that they accept that they would lose out on this one. Their composition is just not strong enough to outpace what the red team has. But both teams now have level 7 abilities ready. Intercession is therefore in, and the party can start. This is where we're going to get some action at the top against the wall. I don't think they can go forward here. It would honestly shock me. They're gonna try and take the wall out at least, but it's the first Immortal, not that powerful, and the shield hasn't been that big either. So you gotta do what you gotta do, but they're not gonna get too much done here. Take the wall out, that's big. If you can do some damage on the fort, hey, even better. But I think that this is pretty much where it's going to end. Yeah. What is this? 20% gone, maybe a little bit less than that. Either way, good opening for the fan club. They won the first one, did some damage here, set it up for later in the game where they can try and push this further. But we'll see what then happens. The 3 kills are maybe a little bit more important, already showing their teamfight prowess here. Malganir, yeah, just ghosting around. Chromie and Thrall take him down though. So there's the kill. Able to drop the front line. Bye-bye, Malganir. That's the end of Mal'Ganis. And while they are still in the lead in experience, we have Chen alone at the bottom of the map, and he could give them a bit... I mean, he's catching up. He's not only catching up, but Uriel is a little bit late to the rotation, meaning that now Chen does not only get the bottom wall, but he even gets damage on the fort. So that's a bit of a catch-up in experience. It really helps them to also do structural damage. Not too bad. Yeah, definitely not too bad. Blue team is now rotating back down. Obviously, they're smelling blood in the water. They're going for another combo. These taunts are nasty. And Malganir is about to go down. Drakia wants him. Yeah, but he doesn't get close enough in time to get the kill. They are pressuring the front line, though, as you can clearly see. Then again, Nagrom is, in the meantime, at the top, doing damage to the fort. So, yeah, pushing this a bit further. What else can they do now in the bigger scheme of things, though? I mean, right now, down at the, or on the right side, with the next Immortal spawning, we're having the next attack soon coming up with objective number 2. Shamans are getting attacked right now. Objective is already up. Blue team, therefore, getting a little bit of a head start on this, as they are starting to do their thing. Not too much of a lead, though. But there is still a camp at the bottom of the map that is quite well timed from the blue team as they are trying to get their shamans in position, and all the way up at the top the same is going to happen, but maybe with a bit less of an impact. Also, Chromie and Thrall are already there dealing with it. Chen jumping out, yeah, Fat Illidan has to be careful that he doesn't get crushed, has to keg it out. Teams are both on level 10, that gives us light bomb engage opportunities once more. Jean Lassalle with Kira has to get out of the way too, but it was a nice isolation initially, and Mal'Ganis dies again. Yeah, they're focusing heavily on Mal'Ganis now. Trying to take the front line apart, and so far that is happening. So, topside fort has taken damage. Same is true at the bottom of the map as Uriel is trying to defend here. They have to make sure that both of these forts are still standing, and that's what Captain Rex is attempting to do now for the blue team. So he's starting to make his move, and well, what we're seeing down at the bottom or in the middle is a halftime show victory for the blue team, as they are trying to ensure that they're going to get an objective as well. Yeah, obviously don't want to fall behind here. They lost the first one already, so now they're trying to make damn sure that they're going to lock in the second. This is game number 3 after all. I mean, you gotta step up or shut up. And with 3 kills to 3, blue team has definitely decided to step it up a notch. If they can take the Immortal here with the big shield, that would guarantee them a fort pretty much. They still have the fountain, popping it immediately, and off we go. Keg is back up in 30 seconds. There comes the light bomb, and it doesn't connect. Once again, Kira just swinging around here. They're trying with a good Sundering to move on to Whitemane, but they cannot kill her. Whitemane still alive. Nobody's dying there, honestly. What a fight once again, and it's just blow for blow, hit after hit, one combo after another, but nobody really falling. At the bottom of the map, we have now Draka focused again, but Varian moving out of harm's way, as teams will slowly move back into the middle of the map, I suppose, to start focusing onto the Immortal again. And this is where the red team has lost ground. They still need to defend, and they're doing their best to somehow make that happen. With the blue team poking from a distance, Chromie in particular can of course do that time and time again. But yeah, it's getting a bit dicey also here for that bottom fort. That one is getting a bit low. And if they can push more minion waves in, that would be pretty big too. So we'll see if they can do that. Shen is now rotating towards it as well. Light bomb again, and intercession being used by a white main as they focus once more on that front. Urel low, so is Mal'Ganis. They're trying to go for Chromie though, and Herat gets killed. Chromie is down. Mal'Ganis low, but the same is true for Chen, and he falls first. Chen gets killed, quickly dropped. Well done, and that's finally a chance for the red team to bring this back a bit. They split Nogrom off with Li Ming towards the top to try and take the blue team's Immortal down, and he is weaving the damage in one combo at a time. But again, the Cats haven't given up on this yet. The Cats are still fighting down here. They're still trying to ensure that they're winning this one, and since they had such an initial lead, they can maybe do that after all. They're also low on hit points on their top fort though, so that's another problem. Sundering, Kira's ult here, not having the effect that they were looking for, but there comes the attack from Chromie in particular. She's dishing out damage from a distance. They're trying to win this one, and win it they do. Smaller shield than they expected, but still good enough. So now we have the blue team slowly falling back on this. And up at the top with the Immortal, they can go for the fort here, or they should be. But like, look at this. This is just a meme. There's like no hit points left on this bad boy. They can even split their attack and go for 2 attacks at the front. I mean, it's guaranteeing them to at least get 1 fort, I suppose. So yeah, bottom fort is going to fall. Both teams have now level 13 talents. And while the bottom fort falls, the one at the top is going to be saved. This one, they won't be able to take down. Or will they? I mean, it's 2 defenders right now, both of the damage dealers, but they're still pushing at the bottom of the map, and they're even trying to go for a kill. Mal'Ganis gets isolated, has to pop the ult here, might still find himself in a bit of trouble, but is able to move past the gate and therefore out of harm's way. But since the reinforcements are now coming, both forts have indeed been taken out. That's a huge win for the Cats. Taking 2 forts in this situation, that's pretty big. 2 forts eliminated, Chromie with 40,000 damage. Kira, top damage actually for the red team. So she is sitting at 30,000. Chromie, sorry, Li Ming is shortly behind her, but still can't quite catch up with this. Another jump is coming in as the camps are getting attacked here. Red team is trying to at least get something. They lose 2 of their structures, which is very annoying, of course. Not really a spot that you want to be in. But at least they can get the camps. I am really shocked that Li Ming at no point just simply moved towards the top and got a combo off against the fort there. I'm really a little bit surprised by that. Because considering how low that thing is, I thought that Nagrom would just take any opportunity that he gets to move in real quickly and then take it out. But that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, towards the top lane, Virtual is now doing the pushing on the side lane. Camps are also up. Next objective will be announced soon, TM. It's an awesome series. Let's just be honest about this. This is a great series. Really entertaining one. We have the teams with some really cool moves, and it's just a fight non-stop. Once again, ult from Kira coming out here. She's just YOLOing them out like they have no cooldown, which is essentially what's the case here. So yeah. As all of this plays out, Chen had also to keg away, and it seems like Urel is going to be the one to try and make the move here. Not quite. Soon, TM. Soon, TM. We're not quite there yet. Please, somebody has to take this on. But the next Immortal is getting announced. We have the camps taken again. The idea, of course, still being the same. As the objective is on the map, you want to have your shamans pushing the side lanes. That forces the opponent to defend their structures, or it will end up with the shaman camp doing some structural damage itself. Right now, what next we're getting is still some long-distance poke. There's only half a level for the fan club until they hit level 16, so that's also pretty big. That's actually quite nice, because that could theoretically end with them getting a talent advantage. So let's see if they can make that work. Finally, by the way, the topside fort is going to get destroyed. So yeah, this one is not going to make it. Teams are both aiming for the halftime show, but the blue team is a bit more efficient with it and wins the halftime show. They are still not able to save the fort. That would have been quite the meme if they would have saved that again. But, well, while we are still looking at the Immortals here being fought over, let's not forget that we're also now getting the level 16 talents that I mentioned previously. And that is a little bit annoying, because right now what you're talking about is a big talent advantage for the red team. The blue team will have to fight for it. They basically don't have another chance here. Malganir is already low. You still can win the fight here, but you really got to buckle up and go for it. Ah, and there's the kill. Malganir goes down. Even with the talent disadvantage, they were able to pick up a kill. Can they pick up a few more, though? That's the bigger question. And can they pick up their own level 16? They lost Chen already, so it's a 4 versus 4 again. But the party is not over. No, is the red team able to win the Immortal here? It seems like they are. They're turning it around for sure, but the taunt that is popped on Urel nearly killed her. She was able to get her ult out though, and that saves the day. But with Mirror Ball in the hands, you can see that there's tons and tons of damage coming time and time again whenever Li Ming is able to YOLO out another combo. Double pull now from Anduin as he officially turns into the pull-out king. And, well, blue team is attempting to turn it around, but they lose Chromie. Chromie is gone. Chromie gone, and so is Varian. The fan club, guys. The Bobby Kotick fan club. Again with some big plays over here. And it ends with the objective taken by them. They win another objective, able to claim it, and now the big opportunity at the bottom of the map. They already took out one fort at the top. Now they can at least draw even, maybe more than that. If they're now able to also take out the opponent's keep, they would pull ahead in structures. They are already ahead in experience. They are ahead in kills. They have 8 kills to 4. They're doubling the kill count of the opposing force, and yep. That is looking strong. 50,000 damage for Li Ming in the meantime. 57,000 for Chromie. Yes, she is a bit ahead on all of this. The fort obviously had to be given up. No opportunity to take this one on. I mean, that was never really in the cards to save this. It's all about the keep now. It's all about the keep and how you stack up on defense trying to save it. So, can they pull it off? Yes or no? The Cats are throwing everything they have against them, but yeah, they're going to be able to save it, for now at least. They're going to save the keep, the wall is opened up. Essentially the teams are dead even on structures. A bit of extra damage done up at the top, I suppose, but overall still the Cats slightly behind, especially in experience, which could become a problem with level 20. So yeah, not too bad. So yeah, either way, we now looking also at camps by both teams, again being claimed. Initially, immediately once after the defense was over, the first thing that really happens is that the blue team moves back out on the map, trying to take some control of it, take one of the Khaldor camps here. And also, oh, they're getting caught here. Yeah, Thundering as they're trying to get away from this. White Mane in trouble for just a second, but still fine. And everybody is still moving back out. Malganir spasming up here with Mal'Ganis. Just fell claw action as they're starting to go for the camp. Chromie already has a level 20, so we're getting stuck in the loop here. But this is gonna get wild. I mean, it already is. This is an awesome series. It's a great loser bracket final. Game number 2 was particularly a highlight, but also, I mean, first game in the turnaround, now the third map. You can see that from game to game to game, the fan club is picking up some momentum. And right now, they are waiting for the... Oh, they're waiting for the next objective. Chen already going in with his ult. Yeah, was trying to force a bit of the situation there. That would have been pretty cheeky. If they could move in, isolate somebody just before the Immortal spawns and get a kill somehow, that would have been amazing. And of course, Chen is going to have his cooldown back when it really matters. It's another 30 seconds, so it's not like they're wasting anything insane that they cannot get back during the next fight. But they give up the initial position for that little play and also claiming their camp. Look how Urel pushed out the top lane, by the way. That Shaman camp is going to do wonders. She actually stays. Urel even stays, opening this up further since the blue team is moving back out. As long as everybody else down here stays alive, they're going to be fine. But here comes the light bomb engage. Ixia has to be careful too, gets hit by Chromie. and walks away from it. Sundering is out, stuck in a loop, is triggering. Chen is jumping on her, but in comes Urel from the side as the top keep is starting to take damage thanks to the camp that Urel set on lane. Level 20 is now available. Huge Storm Talent advantage for the fan club. They go for Thrall. He's dead. Could maybe even get Anduin. Yep, a wave of force and see ya, baby! Gets quickly killed.
Bye-bye.
And that leads to a keep destroyed at the top lane. 100%. And it seems they're going for core. They're going straight for the core with this one. Once again, they go for the decisive move here. The fan club, ladies and gentlemen. The level 20 advantage, more than enough for them. They got the kills in that last play. Urel set up the top lane before they even moved into the 5v5 battle. And now we have the core getting attacked. Varian is gone. Chen is on the run. You can run, baby. You can't hide. He's dead. And so is Chromie. 5-man team wipe as the fan club takes victory and moves on to the grand final where they will face off against the Bratwurst boys. GG, well done. Fantastic series here in the loser bracket of qualifier number 3.